rest assured that you will be found out. Your sin will find you out. I would rather be found out by God rather than my sin finding me out. Did you know that God can bust you if you've been hiding, if you've been trying to sneak around to have illicit sex and you're born again? Your days could just be numbered. I've been bursted. Someone has just been bursted, and I will tell you my bust story, and I'll tell you someone else's bust story. Yet it's all redemptive. There's no condemnation. There's no throwing stones. It's just to alert you that you need to walk rightly pure, for our God is perfect. And in the times of grace, He is the one that perfects us. You don't want to miss the story of this elder that was bursted by the Lord Himself. So when the Lord gave me the title Sex in the Church and told me to go and research about sex in the church, one day in my rounds I met this elder who was ready to open up and told me his story about how the Lord busted him up. So this guy was happily married, and he was a respected elder in his church, and no one would have ever suspected that he was living a double life. So he had identified one of the estate girls who was a single mom, and he would go there to quench his illicit thirst and hunger just before he went home. So he would go home, and of course he was not interested in sex because he had already gotten it from somewhere else, and for some reason it was so novel, it was so fantastic according to him, and he was slowly drifting from his matrimonial bed. He would land at home around midnight, and of course there was no much of bedroom activity in his own home. So the girl that he was consulting with was a single mom, and this single mom, what would happen is that they would get the child to sleep first, make sure that the child is asleep, and then they would begin their badminton games. So it was a custom. They had already gotten used to be going past the place before he went home, and he would always cheat that he was heavily involved in the office work, and he had to do a lot of work because his kind of work was accounting, and so there was something to do with accounting arrears all the time, and he needed to align some balance sheet every other day. And of course, because the wife trusted the husband, of course there was no bit about any kind of suspecting that he was going with another woman. So the D-Day came, and the guy went as usual, and they made sure the child was asleep, and they began their badminton games. And of course he was stark naked, he was on top, and was riding his new horse, young horse for that matter. And as he was riding in the crest of the wave of pleasure, you won't believe what happened next. Out of the blues, the almighty voice of the Holy Spirit roused him and asked him, just like it was the time of Eden in the bushes when God was looking for Adam, "What are you doing here?" And the guy knew that was the voice of God. Instantaneously, without explaining to the lady what just happened, he jumped out of the bed naked, and he clutched his clothes and ran out of the door, opened the waiting vehicle, his own vehicle, and he just ignited, and he just went wearing his clothes in the vehicle, scared to the bone. "Is that you, Lord?" "Yes, that is the Lord that had spoken." He hadn't said two things or three things. The Lord had only asked one question, and that question was enough to shake this elder to his bones. The Lord sometimes does not need to say many things. And what amazes about me is statement, "What are you doing here?" is that the statements of God could be short, but they are so pithy, they are so full of life, they are so full of volume and expansion and extrapolation inside, such that the person that has been asked or told by God something so short is able to explain it in a myriad million ways. This is the kind of God we serve. He will ask you a question that will set you on the foundations of your life. This man went home and he repented to his wife, and he has never gone back. Either to the brothers, nor to that home. Up to this day, that lady has never known what really happened with his men. It's still a mystery to her. What happened to the elder that was on top of me? Busted by the Lord. Well, I just wanted to say that if you are there and you're still dilly-dallying, you're still obnobbing with sin, the Lord will find you. And that's my prayer. It's better that the Lord finds you than the enemy finds you. You remember the day that the man Samson was sleeping with a prostitute, and the enemies had surrounded the house. So they wanted to kill Samson past midnight when he would be asleep. So perhaps the prostitute was a bait, but thanks be to God, because God was with Samson. When the Lord is with you, He will not let you to fall in the hands of the enemy. So I would rather be busted by the Lord rather than fall in the hands of my enemies. Pray that you rather be busted by God rather than be busted by the enemy. The enemy behaves like the Pharisees that caught the woman caught in adultery. They will want to throw stones. They will want to kill you. They want to scandalize you. They would want to tear you into pieces, and you'll never ever hold your head high. They will shame you in the street. That's not our God. Our God covers our shame. Our God covers a multitude of sin because He is love. I want to say, if you are hiding in the porn industry, if you are hiding in prostitution, if you are hiding in masturbation, you are hiding in the porn industry, wherever it is that you are hiding, whether you are hiding in the LGBTQ movement, it doesn't matter where you've gone hiding, the Lord is able to get you there. And sometimes you just need to hear a voice like the one that speaks to you by grace and tells you, doesn't matter what you're doing, you are hiding in illicit sex and the Lord is calling you. What are you doing there? Get out of that bedroom, because the Lord is calling you to the throne room. I repeat, the farthest place that illicit sex can take you is just a mere bedroom, but the Lord is calling you to the throne room. There's a better worship at the throne room. There's greater pleasure in the presence of the Lord than in the bedroom. There's greater pleasure on the throne room than the bedroom. So choose this day where you want to spend eternity, in the bedroom and the bed of suffering, where Jezebel and all his children will be thrown in the lake of fire, or at the throne room where there will be praises and worship, and at His right hand pleasures forevermore. Come to the river of life. Leave the illicit game.